Good morning, mathematicians. So at this point, you know that groups of 10 are really important for our math brains to be able to do math. You know that it's important to look for groups of 10, to count thinking about groups of 10. In fact, this week you've been practicing counting quantities and numerals that are 10 or larger the say 10 way, where you go 8, 9, 10, 10 and 1, 10 and 2, 10 and 3. It's just a way to count that helps your math brain think about how quantities that are larger than 10 have a group of 10 and some leftover ones, or maybe more than one group of 10 and some leftover ones. All of those things will help your math brain do more math. So we're going to practice in a new way today, playing the game bingo that you've played before, but using it along with your math brain and thinking about numbers and quantities in the say 10 way. So to play this game, you're going to need to make a bingo board. So you're going to need some materials. You're going to need a piece of paper that's blank. You're going to need some writing tools of your choice. You could use a pencil. I'm going to use markers. It's really up to you. So the first thing you need to do to create your bingo board is to make 9 spaces in this one piece of paper. To do that, you'll do 2 straight lines down and 2 straight lines across, separating your paper into 9 spaces. So I'm going to show you what that might look like. Those 2 straight lines down and those 2 straight lines across that will separate your paper into 9 spaces. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to look like that when you're ready for it. So then you have a bingo board, and it's your job to fill up those spaces with whatever it is you're playing for bingo. For today, for us, what we're playing is quantities larger than 10 in the say 10 way. So you're going to fill up each of those spaces with a quantity or a numeral that's 10 or larger the say 10 way. So you're going to make it look like this, okay? If you want to pause this video so this is held up and you can copy it, that would be one way to make your board. Also, I'm going to say all of them now just to rehearse in my brain and practice. So we have, you can read them with me as well. Ready, set, read. 10 and 8, 10 and 4 in this space, 10 and 5 in this space, 10 and 6 in this space, 10 and 2 in the middle space, 10 and 0 in this space, 10 and 1 in this space, 10 and 7 in this space, and 10 and 3 in this final corner space. So that is your bingo board. Once you have that, you're ready to play. Now, of course, you need your bingo cards that say whatever square it is you're going to mark off. I've made those, and I'm going to draw them out now. So you can just follow along and play with me. At the end, if you want to make your own bingo card so you can continue to play this game on your own, we'll talk about how to do that. But for now, if you have your bingo board, you can play along with me. So I'm going to tilt my screen so that you can see my bingo board a little bit better. And I was also thinking that I don't really want to, I don't want to write on my bingo board because then I wouldn't be able to play a second time. So I'm just going to use counters. I chose pennies, and I'll cover up a space if I get it. And you also know that there's lots of different ways to play bingo, right? You know that you can play where you just get 3 in a row, whether it's horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. You know that you can play the lights out way, where you have to get the whole board covered up. You can play an L shape. There's lots of different ways to play bingo, so you might just make an intentional choice in your mind before you begin. So what we're going to do now is pull cards that have 10 groups and maybe leftovers and figure out if we have a match on our bingo board for that arrangement of card, okay? So let's begin. Let's check this one first. What do we have here? I notice a 10 stick and then some leftovers. Maybe your brain knows right away how many it is. Maybe you find groups or hidden partners. Maybe you have to touch one, count one. Any of those are just fine ways to figure out what is the arrangement of items on this card. So my brain knew right away that this was 4, and I did that because I saw it looked like a square, and I know a square has 4 corners. So this card shows 10 and 4. I'm going to try to locate that on my board. Ooh, I see it right there, 10 and 4. I know that those match, so I'm going to put a counter on that card. Let's do the next one. It's always important to scramble up your cards so you can't see. And what do we have here? Take a moment and try to figure it out. I do see a 10 group, and I see 1 leftover. So we can call this 10 and 1. Try to locate that on your board. 10 and 1. Ooh, I see it. 10 and 1. So I'm going to use one of my counters to cover that up. Okay, take a moment to look at the next card. See if you can figure out without my help What is the quantity or numeral on this card in the say 10 way? What do you think? You can pause the video if you need at any point to give yourself more time. I know I noticed it was 10 and 3. 10 and 3. So I'm going to try to find that on my board. See 10 and... Oh, there it is. 10 and 3. Okay, I'm trying to get 3 in a row today, so I noticed that I'm close here. Here's my next one. Oh, I notice it's just a 10 group, just a 10 stick. So 10 and no leftovers, none is the same as 0, so it must be 10 and 0. Ooh, I just got closer to 3 in a row over here. Here's your next one. Okay, so I see my 10 group. And remember I said it's definitely okay to touch one, count one if you need to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know I have 5 ones. So I have 10 and 5. Oh, in the corner. Oof, I almost have 3 in a row. Lots of different ways, but I don't quite have it yet. Okay, notice my 10 stick or my 10 group here, and I see lots of leftovers. So I'm going to touch one, count one again. Ready, set, count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I had a plan to go this way. So I have 10 and 8. That's, oops. Look at that. I got 3 in a row 2 ways. I also got an L-shaped bingo, if that's the way that I had been playing. So you throw up your hands and you say, bingo! I know we all got bingo because we were playing along. So that game helps you practice thinking about your quantities and numerals that are 10 or larger in the say 10 way. So anytime you want to play, the materials you will need are your bingo board, which you've already made, counters if you want to cover up your spaces instead of writing on them. Of course, you could also write on them if you prefer. Make your bingo board differently next time you play. And then the last thing you'll need if you wanted to play again was cards that have 10 sticks and leftovers. So the way that I made those was by cutting up paper into rectangles and then use a writing tool. I used markers to draw 10 sticks and then quantities of leftovers that match my bingo board. So I know that if I have a space that says 10 and 4, for example, I have to do a 10 stick and 4 leftovers. So you can now, if you want to play again, make your own cards that look like that. You can make them on your own. You can get a grown-up to help you. You could also just rewind this video and play again. Those are all appropriate ways to play the say 10 way bingo. So I hope you enjoyed this game and I hope you play it again.